Hey y'all, welcome to Faith and Flourish. I'm Sherelle Beverly. So I am recording this video. This is going to be my last video for about 30-ish days or so, because I feel like God is calling me. I'm trying to be obedient. Sorry, camera shaking. And sorry if y'all might see me have to fly away some bugs and stuff like that because I'm outside. I found the only little bit of shade outside on my back porch. That's the only thing about sitting out here. I need something to cover it because the sun is crazy unless it's in the evening time. Anyways, so I feel like God is telling me that I need to produce, that I need to write this book that He already told me I needed to write, but I didn't feel like it was the time to write it. And so I do feel Him calling me into it. And, I feel like He's just saying, like, all the content that I have right now on YouTube, just to kind of circulate it, keep it going. And in addition to the music and stuff like that, or other messages, just whenever He moves me to do it. So that's what I'm trying to do. Y'all got to realize I don't do anything just because I want to do it. I do it because I in my presence, in the time, in my personal devotion time, when I'm spending time with God, I feel Him telling me to do stuff or whatever, and then that's the reason why I do it. And so that's when sometimes people are like, you don't know what I was going through, like, thank you for sending that message or something like that. A lot of times, not all the time, but a lot of times I have heard that. So I know that it's just God moving me, and I allow His Holy Spirit to move me and direct me in things, even before I get on this, or before I read, or even before I talk to certain people and stuff like that. Like, I always pray to ask God to, use me, let me be His vessel. And so, anyway, so I know I need to produce this book. God told me I already got the title. I got like chapters. I got some things written and stuff like that. So I am a student at heart, and I know the way that I study. I know the way that I produce, and the way that I produce is to concentrate on just that. And it's crazy or whatever that I again, even this channel, Faith and Flourish, I couldn't understand why. I was like, okay, I'll name it that. That's the name that I felt like God was giving me. And I just came to like the realization yesterday. I kind of had an epiphany moment. I was like, Sherelle, the whole point of the channel was people have to watch your journey, right? Like, some people are able to deliver their testimony when they're completely out of their trials, when they're completely out of it. Maybe, they done did whatever they supposed to do. They're in a good place or whatever. Let me make this notification. Do not disturb. They might be in a decent place, but that's not me. I was expecting like money to come through, whatever, like certain money or whatever. That didn't come through, and I don't yet have a job, and so my bills are really behind as always. And but God, He was like, if you're supposed to be like my faith warrior, you know what I'm saying, the person who's supposed to reflect faith, what better way to show than, me having to produce without having income. I know a lot of people panic with that, and I haven't, I did it initially or whatever, but God's like, I've been taking care of you this far. What you think I'm not going to take care of you going forward? And I'm like, you know what? You're right, Lord. So let me just go ahead and be obedient to what you said. I know He said I need to produce this book, and I know myself how I operate, and so I know I need to do it. Now, I wanted to address a couple things in this video also, but I just wanted to say that. So if I'm MIA, just know that I am producing, and I will be, like I said, when the Spirit moves me, or if there's some content, and if I take a break or whatever, and I see it, and I feel like it's good for you, then I'll put it up, or put it on my Instagram or Facebook, or, or even if God prompts me to record a video, then I will, but I'm telling you right now, I'm clearing out like for at least like 30-ish days, because God gave me vision of a date, and I don't really know what's supposed to happen on this date, but I have a feeling, well, I kind of had a vision too that I'm supposed to release a book on this date, and now it's getting to it's a little bit 30 days left, and I'm like, okay, so God showed you a vision, so if you believe Him, step out on faith and do it and write it, right? And so, and I already got the title and stuff like that. Anyway, so I need to do that. And in addition to putting content on there as the Spirit moves me, know that I will always be, if I have messages that I listen to or music that I find, I'm going to put it in my messages and my music playlist. If you haven't checked it out, then you need to check it out. And that's what I wanted to talk about. Again, the process of healing, it is a process. It is a journey. Life is a journey, and so many of us, we try to wait for a point where it's going to be right, like everything is going to be good, right? That I'm going to, when I get money, then I'm going to be like this. When I get this job, I'm going to be like this. When I get this achievement, when I have this family, when I have a husband, I'm going to have like this. But that's not the way it is. Once you get that, it's still going to be something else that you want to get to. So the only fulfillment that I have found is my peace in God. And that's what God wanted. God was like, you've made it, Sherelle. You've made it. You found the reason for living. Because I just always knew that I had a big purpose ever since I was younger. I haven't even reached that purpose yet, but I just always know that there's something big in me. I always knew that. But I didn't know. I never had any like natural talent and stuff like that. I just couldn't understand it. And so, but now my connection to God, I just get it. It's like I look forward to living. I look forward to life with the trials and all, the good, the bad, the ugly. It all made me who I am. They weren't just failures. They weren't failures. They were lessons. You know what I'm saying? What people be like, well, if I would have known, such and such. Well, you didn't know. So you did the best that you could with exactly what you have. So why even sit there and meditate on what if I did this? What's the point? It's all in the past, and it's nothing that you can do to actually change that past. So now you need to come to a place that you can come to healing, that you can start to turn to healing instead of meditating on that. Because you're not, I'm telling you, if you're still meditating on your past a lot of times, like just meditating on it, like, oh, if I should have did this or whatever, you're not going to reach that healing process. You're not. And another thing, like, it takes work. It takes work, and if you're not willing to do that work, then that means that you're not willing to heal. Don't get me wrong, like, I'm very sweet and stuff like that, but I give tough love too. And tough love is, you have to work, because let's be real, we have to stop playing victim. I know that some things, like in childhood and stuff like that, you couldn't help that. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't help that. That's maybe just evil in the world and something happened to you. I'm sorry about that. But still, you still can't stay in that place if you want to truly live life. But okay, y'all, I'm back. My iPhone overheated, okay? So I had to come in the house back to my old spot. Anyways, so what I was saying, I was like, you have to get out the place of being a victim, because if you're like me, aside from, like stuff that you couldn't help or whatever, you didn't choose your parents, you didn't choose, people in the past, really, but if you're like me and you chose to be disobedient, or you chose a life that is outside of the will of God, and when I say, you like, how do I know the will of God? The will of God is His word, right? His word is clear, and it's in His word, but we don't take the time to study, to learn His word, and there's so many different breakdowns, so I don't feel like it's an excuse, because when we want to get our hair done and we want some type of style or something like that, we're looking it up, or want to go traveling, whatever. I don't know. Want to read something that you interested in, you read it, so you gotta learn, even like with eating healthy, right? Especially if you're black, I had pork in every single vegetable. You know what I'm saying? Like, I grew up on pork, like, for real. And everything was fried. So, you have to, but if you know that you want to live for longer, and you don't want all hypertension, diabetes, and all this stuff that your family got, you need to change your lifestyle. You need to change it a little bit. You need to, redo that. I mean, shift it, and that happens by getting more knowledge on the subject. How do I eat healthy? So now, when you live a life in God, you have to learn, like, how do I live this life in God? And it's found in His word. It's a manual for us to live by. And I had to realize, although I was a new Christian and I believe that God allowed me to go on that walk because I guess he, you know, he's not gonna give you more than what you can bear, right? So I guess I was made for this. but I also have to take into account that I made the decision, right? I made the decision to have sex before marriage, and I'm telling y'all, I heard God say, I knew it, and it happened right at the same time that I met my ex, the last one. Back then, before I got pregnant and had an abortion, I knew, I felt in my spirit with everything in me that I was not supposed to have sex. But again, coming from a sex addiction, I still fell, especially back then. It was easy for me to fall back then. And so yeah, I fell. And then I had an abortion, right? Then I fell again, and I had the white boy, abusive, really abusive. And then I fell again, and then I ended up end up being like a toxic relationship. Not saying that our relationship was horrible, I did just record a video to him, a message to him, and you can go listen to it if you're curious or whatever, but I acknowledged some things that I know I went wrong with, but because obviously if we were both healing and we both got a toxic, relationship, regardless of a woman's perspective, I ain't gonna lie. In my head, I'm like, we probably do a lot less than what the men do. You know what I'm saying? We probably take a lot more than what the men take when it comes to us dishing out the pain. But at the end of the day, he still has feelings, and I can't say what hurt somebody. And so I took account for, the times that maybe I hurt him, because I know I was learning how to control my emotions again, and that was scary. And so I even thanked him for being patient with me, because I know, that's how I know he loved me. I know he still loves me, but I know that he's hurt and stuff like that. But and that's his journey. That's not my journey. That's nothing I can fix or whatever. But I believe that we both had mutual love for each other, and I do believe that we were working toward marriage. I think that if I would have stuck by, then yeah, I believe that we would have got married and everything would have been fine. I'm telling you. But I believe that there still would have been headbutts because there was something in me that felt like something was wrong. And because I was getting closer to God, the more I got closer to God, like I said, the darkness in him just could not stand the light in me. I was, and that's what it is, like the thing is, like I said, a man without God, they can easily fall into temptation, into the the enemy's hands, and that's what happened with him. And and it started distant, making us go apart and creating a lot of tension and stuff between us toward the end. And so I understand all of that, but at the same time, these last 2 years, I could not have thought about it without him. Like, I thank God, like, even though I know, okay, I thought that was it, like, we would spend the rest of our lives together, but it didn't happen like that, but I know specifically God told me to walk away. And so again, I'm being obedient. And then God never told me to walk away the way that he told me to walk away now, because in the past, it wasn't like a walk away like that. Like, I felt like we were supposed to be there, but I know that God didn't tell me to have sex, right? I know that was right. Anyways, but going back to it, I had to hold myself accountable and take responsibility for the choices that I made, right? So many of us want to get mad, and we're mad with God. We're like, why is all this bad stuff happening to us? But we don't do an assessment of our life. Do assessment of your own life. It says even in the Word of God, before you point your finger at somebody else, make sure you assess yourself. You know what I'm saying? And so many of us women, we want to act like that we're right about everything, but I ain't gonna lie, like, I'm not trying to be funny or whatever, but I'm a whole different caliber of woman. The women I've seen out there is, I see what men go through a lot of times, there's a lot of good women around, and so I know what we go through. But, I do understand there's a lot of not good women out there. Not saying that they're obviously they're broken, you know what I'm saying? So they can achieve a level, once they get to self-love and stuff like that. But I understand it. And so regardless, we women always want to play victim, and we're very hard on the men. And in light of this stuff that has been happening to our black men, which has always been happening to our black men, we as women need to understand our history. And and men, we all need to understand our history of what we all go through, of the brokenness in our family, of our trauma that our parents experienced that passed on to us. So we're broken from the beginning. We all start off broken, and we have to go back and assess our lives to see, why did I act the way I act? I even talk about like my trajectory of why I was so independent, right? I didn't want to end up like my mom, but still nobody taught me. I had to kind of teach myself. That's another reason why I felt like there was no God. I had to teach myself. I had to do everything for myself, and so I felt so independent. And I was focused on school and stuff like that. But anyways, that was all from my past. It was from how I was taught or wasn't taught, the lack of teaching or whatever I was taught. I did the best I could. I received what I could. And I know a lot of people, they hold so much anger in and unforgiveness. I'm telling you, forgiving someone is the best thing that you can do for yourself. They say that holding on to unforgiveness, it ain't doing nothing for the other person. It's like you continuously swallowing a bitter pill of poison. You know what I'm saying? You continuously swallowing it because you're so angry, because you keep playing victim. But let me ask you something. If that man hurt you, right? But you knew them red flags was there in the beginning, right? So you made that choice. And God is a good God. He ain't gonna, that's the point. He gave us the choice to be able to choose him or choose the world, choose good or choose bad, choose sin or righteousness. He gave us that choice. And our life is really a reflection of the choices that we make, right? And so at the end of the day, I can look at my situation and stuff like this and look at it, but it really was a decision that I made. And God told me what to do. I didn't really understand it. I didn't understand how serious it was, but it's like he was warning me. And I didn't understand it until now. I understand it now. But, like I said, I don't regret it, because now I have just a new understanding of life. And I really want to make sure that people are on the right path to healing, and know that God created everything. That means God created therapists, counselors, doctors, created all us that create and go out and make these things, right? Nothing can be done without God, because God created us. So everybody that creates something, at the end of the day, God allowed it. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything is really in his hands, and we are supposed to create because we're made in his image. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. But basically what I was saying is, we have to understand that God created everything. So, let's not be so religious that we don't understand things that's in the world that's here for us to do what we need to do. I feel like I need to change this. Okay. For us to do what we need to do or whatever, like to go get counseling, go get therapy. We're so busy. Like, I don't know about y'all, but I don't like pain. I don't like to stay in the pain, like, especially heartache. To me, heartbreak is like, it's debilitating. Depression is so debilitating, and I don't like to stand like that. But all of that is just a reflection of unprocessed things that have happened to you, trauma that has happened to you. Trauma will break you down, will debilitate you, will paralyze you. That's what happened to me. The trauma that the white boy did, it traumatized me. It shut me completely down, to the point that it took me 2.5 years. And then I kind of got traumatized too, with my last ex, because we are healing off each other. So that's a little bit more trauma. So it slowed down my healing process, but regardless, no matter what it is, trauma, our brain doesn't process that, so we need to first acknowledge that we have a problem, that there's some issues going on with us. Let's not accept anger and bitterness or, bad attitudes and stuff like that, because that's not how God created you. That is not how God created you. And let's be real, you ain't happy. Be like, oh, I just got a face, right? You just talk about your face stuck. girl, you look ugly. Boy, you look ugly. Whoever it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. Like, no, that's not good. God didn't create you like that. Nah, your natural state is not anger and stuff like that. No, what it is unresolved pain. And that's what it is. It's a cover up, you know? And God created us to be in relationship with people. Like, I don't like people. I don't trust people. Yes, and that's an abnormal behavior, you know, because God created us to be relational creatures. So there's something in you that always really do want relation, you know. And but we just have to learn how to guard our hearts and be able to discern spirits and where people are in their life. And that Bible is a key to helping us get power and knowledge to understand how to navigate through life. And that's why I keep referring to it. But you also need to use the tools and resources that God has given you. You know, he's allowed a bunch of people to be ministers of his word. So even if you can't pick up the word and read it to yourself, you can listen to sermons and find somebody that works with your personality or you can relate to and get that word in you. You know what I'm saying? Get that word in you. Or books, you know, a lot of books or whatever are, you know, like, it's amazing books or whatever out here that can help you, you know. But again, you have to do the work and you have to change your perspective. It's like, I know it takes you like no time to get into like the relationship or whatever, but it takes forever to heal. And that's just the reality of it, which is why you want to make the right moves going forward. That's why I keep preaching to y'all, but nobody want to listen to me and everybody want to be heartbroken after y'all done got on y'all back. All right, like, step off your back, like what you gonna say. How you say it. Anyways, stop it. Like, it's against the will of God. God says don't have sex before marriage, so don't do it. You know what I'm saying? It's not normal. Like I said, like, I guarantee you were probably exposed to sex at an early age, you know. You weren't taught. It was a lack of knowledge. You know, nobody taught you your self-worth. And at the end of the day, if we do want a husband, what we need to do is make the men earn that. No, don't give your body away for free, because then what else is there to earn? What else is there? What's the point? You know what I'm saying? You've given it up. And so exactly how my ex says, he said he feel like I give it up to everybody easy. You know what I'm saying? So again, you're going to get that same reflection. He just reflecting what most men saying, but he had the courage to say it. Right? So unless you want to experience that and do that, then you can listen to me and listen to my testimony, or you can do it your way and have to do damage control by doing all the therapy from you making a mistake and being obsessed with that man, because now you got a soul tie with him because you laid down with him and he won't about you. You know what I'm saying? And because think about it, if you're not having sex with him or whatever, and you're just talking to him, becoming friends with him, and then he falling for you or whatever, and let's say, of course he's going to be talking to multiple girls, but it's something about you, and he can want you because he hasn't had you. He done had them girls, and it's something about you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and y'all done built up this conversation, so now you're not confused about the sex or whatever, because you know sex clouds your judgment. You know, it makes you feel like you got feelings for him, and you might not like them. Like for me, I didn't like the white boy, but then I turned around and felt like there was something obviously after I had sex, right? It was deeper connection. But anyways, so you can do that or don't. And again, like I said, and the part of healing is really trying to understand why you are. Why do I do these things? Why am I like this? You know, I had to go back. Fortunately for me, I've been studying human nature for a long time. And so what I do is I study myself. I've been studying myself even before I had a relationship with God, you know, to figure out why I was a certain way. And me and my mom, we had like a kind of, you know, crazy relationship or whatever, because I felt like she chased men and I did not want to chase men. That's why every man that I've ever dealt with, they can say that I did not chase them. I'm not chasing no man. And if I'm rejected, I'm going to walk away or whatever. Don't get me wrong. I'll be sweet and nice. And that's the thing about me. I'll be sweet and nice. I ain't going to be mad at you. But I will pick my little self up. And, you know, my little heart, my piece of my heart. And I'm going to go on. I'm going to keep it moving. I'm not about to sit there and keep chasing after no man. I'm not going to do it. Because one thing about me is I had a father. I had a great father. And he loved me. So it's like, I didn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't need that. And then I found my relationship with the Father, right? God and in Jesus and stuff like that. And so, you know, I feel good. So I know I'm not gonna chase no man now. And I'm just really focused on purpose. And I killed my will. I got dreams. God puts desires on my heart. You know, it says that if you seek God and, you know, and you make him your delight, and he is my delight. I don't know if y'all can see it on my face, like every time I talk about God, but he is my delight. And it says that he'll give you the desires of your heart. So I want to believe that the desire for all the things that I want, including marriage and kids and stuff like that, I believe that God's going to give it to me. You know, I'm not about to be one of these people be like, well, if it don't happen to me, I'm gonna be with you. Nah, it's gonna happen to me. I'm gonna be married. I predict within the next couple years. All right. So you know, but whatever, you know, it's God's timing. But I feel like, you know, it's on my heart, and it's, you know, and he hasn't taken that away. Honestly, he hasn't even taken away my desire for my ex yet, you know. But I feel like, okay, you know, in time maybe he will, whatever. But he hasn't taken it away. But anyways, point back is, I'm sorry for the little random talks. I guess I'm getting out everything because I'm not going to be able to talk to y'all. So in case y'all want to hear my rambling. But you got to do the work. You know, you got to do the work. And if you need accountability, that's what I'm here for. That's the point of me going and becoming a life coach officially. So somebody, you know, if you need accountability partner, somebody help you through it, coach you through it, help build up your faith, give you, you know, like one-on-one direction or whatever, book me. mymentor.life and / my name, Sherelle Beverly. And I always had a link in my profiles on my, you know, page, or just go and search. I'm on page 12, or you can check under the coaches that say faith, healing, and love. Those are my topics. You know, and if you have any questions or whatever that you want, or maybe topics that you want me to talk about or something like that, you can always like email me. I believe my email is faithin, the letter N, flourish@gmail.com, and I'll put it all in my description. And so you can email me with, you know, topics that you want me to talk about, then I can talk about it. But, you know, right now I feel like there's everything that I've said, you know, about my testimony and guidelines, and so now all it is for you to do the work or whatever. You know, there's a lot of people out here with great messages, and that's why I put them in my messages, saying there's, you know, I told y'all to transform y'all music, because if you still listen to music about these men that not value you know, valuing you, then you're not gonna, you think that that's all you're gonna get. That's why I put music on there by godly men who are, most of them are married, or, you know, living the godly life. And y'all need to hear that, you know, especially if you're gonna listen to some, I don't see how y'all can listen to that stuff anyways, but, you know, I've always been an old soul. You know, and I've always liked lyrics, so I'm always listening to the lyrics. I've never been a person that was gonna like listen to something that I'm talking about myself, calling myself a B or something like that. I never was that person, because like, why would I call myself that? I don't care what your lyrics say. Why would I do that? So again, go to my music playlist and click the random button and just start playing it, you know. You know, my stuff is going to be a little more, you know, upbeat a lot of times. It's not going to really be the worship music. Every now and then I'll throw a worship song in there, but mostly it's going to be my hip-hop, you know, stuff. And it's some artists that started kind of doing like Christian R&B a little bit, like Christian Grey. He's kind of one that kind of move over, and Corin Hawthorne, and there's a couple other people that kind of move, those, I can't remember, Evan, and I can't remember the names. This is like a brother and sister, what you call it. But anyways, there's a couple of them that kind of do kind of R&B-ish stuff, and so that I'm discovering. But again, I'm still discovering music, but as I discovered, I'll throw it in there and go over there and listen to it. It's plenty of messages in there about healing, about how men think, because y'all women, y'all need to understand how men think, because I promise you, it is completely different from what you thought, completely different from what you had in mind. And I had to learn that. I had to learn that we had two different thought processes, you know. Women are kind of like completely different, you know, creatures, and God intended it for that. We have different wants, different needs, so, you know, male and female. And so and a male, a lot of time their initial thing is to be fruitful and multiply. So their first thing that they do think about, they think about sex on a whole nother level, you know. So it's natural for them to want to be with more than one girls if they haven't found theirs, you know. But